hey, people who still call it a scam, like, please come make your own opinions and jump in game and tell us what you think. Even if you tell us it's garbage, like, we'd love to hear why, if you're not just trolling us.
Okay, so this is going to be a very different type of video to what we normally do on the channel. However, we had an opportunity, and this is kind of how it played out. So, DreamWorld. You may or may not have heard of DreamWorld, but if you have heard of DreamWorld, you probably heard the phrase DreamWorld, the Scam MMO. You probably heard of it from people like Callum Upton, Josh Drive-Hayes, and there was a few others that did it. That's how we know it too. Big fans of Josh, big fans of Callum, watch all their stuff. And when it came on, especially when you're talking about these MMOs and things, and the drama regarding the scam, I got baited, I clicked it, I watched it. So anyway, we only know DreamWorld because of the Scam MMO. So I'm assuming most of you guys do too. So, just to be openly candid about what's gone on here, we were actually approached by DreamWorld themselves to play their game. And putting it all out there and being completely open and honest, they have actually just asked us to play it. They're not paying us, they're not giving us any money, they're not persuading us to talk about it in any particular way, they just asked us to play it. So, we saw all this drama back in the day, and then they kind of just disappeared, and we didn't say anything about them. Recently, I think we caught an advert or something regarding them come through on YouTube or somewhere, and you did think, oh damn, they're still going. I wonder what's going on with them. So when we then noticed we had an email in our inbox from DreamWorld themselves, it definitely piqued my interest. I wonder what is going on there. So we have had an opportunity to have a chat with the developer, which I think was quite a nice way of them to break the ice. We had a 2-hour Discord conversation with the guy you probably all know, Zach, from the main parts of controversy surrounding the game. He took the brunt of it. Through this 2-hour conversation, I didn't want to delve too much into a lot of the drama. We are gamers, we play games. We're here because of the game itself. And it turns out they've got one now. So I wanted to talk about the game and have a look at the game. But with that being said, I could not ask him about the drama, about the scam, and about the way it's affected not only their progress, but the way everybody is now going to perceive the game. So we do touch upon it, but I don't go too much into all the other shit that was out at the time. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not too much into the drama, but we did have to discuss that with him. We'll do a proper review of the game later on down the line. We'll do another video where we're actually giving it an honest review, playing it properly, and giving you our thoughts on it. But because of this conversation we were able to get with the developer themselves, I thought it was a good time to actually have an honest conversation where I was able to ask about my concerns with it, play it for a bit, tell him what I thought, and have him explain this game to me. So that's what happened. Now, this is a weird one, so please don't take any offence at what I'm about to say.
No, of course not.
We know about DreamWorld.
For a few years.
We've heard of DreamWorld. We've known about it for a while.
Wonderful.
But we haven't known about it because of it being a game and it being a playable game. We know we know about it from Callum Upton and Josh Drive-Hayes and their videos basically calling it out as a scam.
For sure.
However, we followed Callum's videos completely.
We did watch them all, and Callum did do a video at a later date where he basically took back what he said. And he was showing around it, and he did make a little bit of an effort to kind of squash that. But it's one of those where it's kind of stayed in your head that you remember it as this is a Scam MMO thing, which everybody was talking at the time. Now, we don't really give a shit. We were just playing something else.
Sure.
It's just, you're just watching YouTube and you see something and you think, oh, drama, I'll click on that. Ideal. You know what I mean? You just do, don't you? Yeah.
Of course.
But over the time, it's kind of like it's kind of stuck.
Unfortunately.
You think of the DreamWorld thing and you think of that Scam MMO. Now,
We've seen some videos recently, a few weeks ago, just before you emailed us. We seen a video and we were like, "This game's looking awesome now. If we were PC gamers, we'd give it a go." Like,
yeah, genuinely we did. I'm not sure if it was your advert or something.
It came up for us.
But there was a guy recently did another video on it. And again, he was basically jumping on the hype train, trying to gain views off the back of what Josh and Callum had started back in, a couple of years ago.
Quite outdated, really.
It was outdated.
It was recent.
And he was basically just trying to tread on it a bit, just to farm views. And it was a shit video, it was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't saying any new information. We clicked on it because we thought, oh yeah, we saw Callum talk about it. Let's see what it is like now. And it was like a DreamWorld in 2024 or something it was called. And he was basically just rehashing all the drama from back in the day, but with no new information.
Sure.
Now, after sitting and playing on it, and watching you, there was a video of you showing Callum around the game, I think it was. We watched that, and it was incredibly endearing. You did seem to come across like you really cared about the game.
I very much
really,
do.
You can tell.
Yeah, and you could tell in that video. And it was from that video that we thought, hang on, he really does care about this. I think it's becoming a real game.
Thank you so much.
But it surprised us that nobody has done anything recently to say how far you've come.
Yeah. There's not much out there as far as what's going on. I bet if you YouTube DreamWorld, you're just going to get the stuff from
years ago.
Yeah, the bad press.
Negative, yeah.
But you did seem to really care about it.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate you doing that. I just want to say that first off. And all of that sentiment is what we're trying to combat right now, because we really believe in this thing, and we really want to take it as far as we can, and just pump tons of really cool features in here, and keep bringing more content, and keep bringing more systems and things for people to really have fun with. But it is definitely like the wall that we come up against is all the negativity from the past that just keeps resurfacing. And so what we're trying to do right now, just full transparency, and you can probably see that this is exactly what we're doing, is we're reaching out to the community. That's you. And we're trying to figure out how to bridge the gap between where we have always been in our mindset of we're going to make this thing as best as we possibly can, and where we are currently with people who keep finding and running up against all the negativity from 2 years ago that just isn't indicative of, one, the true story of DreamWorld, and two, what we're doing. And so we've tried to make it as easily accessible as possible. Jump in game for free, make an account right now. Everyone can play. There's no cost barrier. There's no other barrier to entry. We have tried to be very active with all of the comments on our YouTube channel, being like, hey, people who still call it a scam, like, please come make your own opinions and jump in game and tell us what you think. Even if you tell us it's garbage, like, we'd love to hear why, if you're not just trolling us. Like, so we're trying hard here, and we want to try our best. And so we're reaching out to everyone in the gaming community who loves building games specifically, because that's what we're going after first. And so when we look at all the things that we want DreamWorld to be, we realize that we have to try and focus in on one niche first, so that we can do it as best as we possibly can. And we think that enabling people to come in and create anything that they want is the way to go. DreamWorld is an infinite world shared by everyone. If you jump in, you will see the exact same world that everybody else is seeing and running around, and you can go to these incredible things that you're seeing people create and run around them together.
Just on that note, that's... like I said, I love building in games. I love doing that kind of stuff. Now, on that note, one of the reasons why, and a ton of the builders that are building in Ark and things like that, they might not admit it, but the reason we love building in that game is because we want to show it off to other players. And you can try and pretend, no, it's just my base, it's just a place I live in, it's fine.
But you want people to stumble across it
you're
and
making, you're making that, and you're spending hundreds of hours sometimes building that base so you can show other people what you've done. But the thing I don't quite get with DreamWorld, and you'll have to help me understand this a little bit now, is...
I will try.
With Ark, I'll always reference Ark. Most of our community is Ark. That's the way I talk. I don't know about game development. I know about playing Ark. That's about it.
No worries.
But with that one, you've got like a server, and everybody can access this server, but it's capped. You've got 70 player cap. When it hits 70, no one else can get on. With that system, it works incredibly well, but they have to then put up multiple servers. You can then transfer your character and items to another server, trade with other players, and transfer back. And it's a very open system, and it works really well, and it thrives on this community then. But what I've noticed with yours is it sounds and feels a little bit like there's one server.
Yep.
So you've got one server. Now, let's just say DreamWorld blew up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And suddenly had 100,000 concurrent players. How are you having a server that can sort 100,000 people all building and changing that landscape in real time? What the hell? How's that? What server is that? How's that even working? That's mind-boggling
Absolutely.
to me.
No, and I'll tell you very truthfully, it's mind-boggling to me. I'm not the person to talk with you about the technical aspects of how that works. I could point you to other people on my team who are. What I do know of it is that we are currently capable of more than World of Warcraft is capable of hosting.
Wow.
And we have done tons of tests on our end to emulate that and simulate that. And so we can see very clearly that it's working as intended.
That's
we
amazing.
just have never, because of the negativity, in part, we have never had the concurrency that would show that off well. And so we're really trying to get more people in game right now to try and show that off explicitly. We were trying to think of ways that we could show off the other tech that we're really excited about that other people, our critics included, have said was totally impossible, like the infinite world. So we thought, you know what, if we can just show 12 hours of flying in one direction, maybe that will convince people.
Yeah.
We haven't watched the whole video. But
really?
But that again,
we worked so hard.
that really boggled my mind, because as we're in this game world and we build our nice base, we want people to pass by and enjoy it and be like, nice build. No, thank you very much. What have you done? Let's have a look at yours. See what you've done with yours. And create this community around building interesting things. Mm-hmm. What happens if I flew for 7 hours in one direction? Because you've got this, is it randomly generated, this procedurally generated?
It's procedurally generated and AI generated now.
Because if I was to fly in 7 hours in one direction and build a base, I have procedurally generated that world for me on my end, or have I procedurally generated it within the server itself? Because if someone wanted to visit me and they flew in 7 hours in the same direction, are they going to be procedurally generating their own version of it, or will they have the same as mine?
Same one as you. Here, we've split the world in two pieces, which is exactly what Minecraft does. They call them chunks. When we procedurally generate each of those chunks, what's on them, the terrain, so the topography, the biomes, what orientation they're in, those are all coming from what's called a seed. A seed is an algorithm that will keep iterating all of the differences out based on that algorithm. So you, me, anyone else in game has the same topography and biome seeds. So if we keep going in one direction, you and I will always see the same topography and biomes.
Oh damn! Hang on. I think I might be getting this. So it's not actually like procedurally generated, like as if we were in. You know, you get these dungeon crawlers, and you go through a new door, and it's random what's on the other side. It's not like that. What you're saying is that there's a select amount of information which can be provided, but it's not provided 24/7, as to that way you can create server stability. Because if you created a map that was literally 12 hours to 12 hours square, that's so vastly big the server could not support that information running 24/7.
Oh yeah.
So the information is kind of there, but it's been brought to the surface on a tile by tile basis. So it appears as you're flying past.
Right, and even more granular than that, we will only be computing in the background the things that you see locally, and the changes that are made to the locations that you're moving around to. So the changes are stored on the server, but the seed will generate out for everyone in the exact same way.
That's awesome. Fantastic. That is really good, and it's very clever, actually. I don't know anything about game development, but I don't know much about this stuff really in general. So I am a gamer, not someone that's clever enough to understand it. But it sounds a little bit new. That sounds quite fresh and quite different.
It is utilizing a lot of elements that have come before it in unique ways. So like Minecraft had a lot of these elements already. They just didn't try to make this as multiplayer as we're hoping to.
Yeah.
So they didn't run into the exact same issues that we're now having to tackle in unique ways.
Yeah. Genuinely, that's like two of my biggest questions I wanted to ask, is because I didn't understand how it would work. And I think some of your advertisements with it, that might be another thing. People don't understand it.
Yeah.
So to get player base and get people sitting down going, I'm going to give that a go, there's a lot of... I thought when I saw it, the flying 12 hours in one direction, I was like, yeah, but when you get there, when you get to the end, how is anyone going to be able to retrace my steps? I thought because I didn't understand that. I understand it a lot more now, and that sounds good. To me, it's a fresh game, and we're playing it, and we're going to have a look at it.
Appreciate it, really, I do. And just so you know, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. It's funny the situation we're in right now, because the truth of all of this is that we're just two guys trying to make a game. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about what kinds of features we want to go after, and to see what the reaction to our presenting what we wanted to achieve as being this huge negative wave was really surprising to us.
It must have been
sad. Yeah. And so we're trying to figure out, and we have been over the last couple of years, like how do we course correct here? Because what we decided once that happened was, there's really no way for us to just like talk about what the reality of this is and have it be accepted. The real way forward is to just put our heads down and develop for a couple of years, and then take a breath, come up for air, and see where we are after that amount of development, and whether or not people feel differently about the entire situation, seeing what the reality of that development is. And I think we're there now. And I think, like you guys touched on, Callum having been one of our previous heaviest critics, and now coming in and having a good time running around DreamWorld with us and pointing out things that he particularly enjoys, is really cool to us and really rewarding. We feel like we made the right call of just like keep our heads down and develop, and show people what we're made out of.
The thing is, if it was a scam, you would have gone by now.
Yes. Yeah.
So it
it's still working on the game constantly.
Cannot be a scam. It is a thing that you wanted to build, that you have built, and it's come to a point now where you see people making games, and you see these. We do a lot with like Arc and mods that are on Arc, and the Arc has decided now that they will promote a hell of a lot of community mods. Some of these maps that are made by these community developers and things, they've taken 3 to 5 years to really turn into something that when you play feels like
part of the main game.
Yeah, part of the main game, that it's a genuine, real thing. So the amount of time that it takes to make this stuff is unreal. So what you've actually come out with at this point, not going to lie, does feel a little bit, in some places the textures and some of the assets and things still feel a little bit placeholdery and new, but it's such a vast thing that you've taken on that I think it's incredible that it's got there in such a realistically a short amount of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
No, it really is. It's a decent thing to be playing. Mm-hmm. I didn't think
you had so much fun.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. Honestly, I'm very much. I play a game and I play that game. But so I wasn't sure I was going to get into it, but I really did. I get sucked in. It was the building that got it. It was the building that done it for me. I'm definitely 100% going to be making some videos on the build mechanics and what is achievable within the game, because it's really, really fun and really enjoyable.
And honestly, that's what's most important to me, is if you guys are having a really good time, that's a really good sign for us. If you're having a bad time, if you love it but there's some frustration, like, we want to know what that some frustration is, because we want to smooth it out so that anyone who comes after you who may like games like you likes it better. And so for us, you just having a good time playing is something we value highly. And so I don't know if you noticed, but like, I'm in Zeal, I'm in most of the time in game trying to answer questions. If I'm not in game, I'm in Discord trying to answer questions. That.
And the community and you and Kyle are so helpful.
Yeah, we've noticed how active you guys are, and it is really nice. You haven't just sort of... I feel that other developers would have more than likely got to this stage, realised we're getting somewhere now, and pass it off.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't think we'd actually be speaking to you, if I'm honest. I thought we could be speaking to someone else on your behalf, talking about the game. I kind of figured you might have passed it off by now, so it's nice to see that there's still such an active interest and love for the game in its current state. It's really nice.
So for me, you guys coming in and playing the game after having played tons of building games and really loving this building experience and feeling like it is completely unique and, like you said, a breath of fresh air, is super rewarding after all of that effort. And it's exactly where we wanted to get to. And we're trying to forge those relationships and bring people into an understanding of what actually has happened with DreamWorld and what DreamWorld actually is, instead of the sensationalization, I don't know if that's a word, but sensationalizing of what happened with all the negativity. And it was such a funky experience to us, because we actually had been talking with people who really loved DreamWorld in the prototype stage when we barely had anything. And then when all the negativity came around, several of them reached out to us and said, hey, like, sorry, but we're going to have to go with the negativity route because we really see that there's tons of money and views to be had there, and we'd love to ride that train. So it was disappointing, for sure. But, you know, turning after that and saying, if we just keep our heads down and build the thing that we said we were going to build, hopefully people will come back and be really excited, because people were really excited surrounding the Kickstarter. I think we had 5 million people searching for us every month during that period of time. And now we feel like we really have something to offer. Yeah. And we're very excited to get people like yourselves in.
I can't disagree with that either. And I do think the route of just putting your head down and working hard is a really nice, respectable way of going about the negativity. Yeah. I feel you were kind of bad timing with the negativity as well. If I remember rightly, I think there was a big phase of let's go to Kickstarter and let's find the scammers. And there was a big phase of that going around for about a year, where everybody was wanting to rip into a lot of Kickstarters, and yours was incredibly ambitious. Yes. And some of the stuff that you put out that you were going to do,
People didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, people did not believe it. And so you kind of got lumped in with the rest of them. Nobody gave you a chance to prove or not. You should have been allowed to have scammed them before they called you a scammer.
Yes.
But you didn't even get that far. It was no, it's got to be a scam, because it sounded so unbelievable. Yeah. And so there was this time period where people were looking for something to moan about, looking for something to say was a scam.
And then they would all jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, then everybody would jump on the bandwagon. And YouTube was awful for that. You'd get a couple of people that would do big on it. Then everybody would make a half-assed video basically copying what they were saying to dribble down the views until you get to the low-end stuff, which wasn't getting as much views. But everybody would just jump on it. And getting out of that is going to be incredibly hard, but you more than deserve to get away from that stigma with the amount of effort you've put in.
Yeah, Kyle Blake, Director of Marketing for DreamWorld. One of the first things that I did when I came on the team, we put out a video. It's available on our YouTube channel. It was when we announced the Alpha 2, and something that the founders and I really wanted to do. was to say, hey, if there's anyone out there who gave us money during the Kickstarter campaign and they feel that we're not building the game that we've set out to build, we're going to give you a full refund. And we made that public. We put it in a video. We sent it in direct messages to everybody on our Kickstarter, put it on our Discord community, and emailed it to our email list. We only had one person come forward and ask for a refund, who we then refunded. So everyone who's in our Kickstarter community feels that we are building the game that we set out to build. It's also not a game that's going to be built overnight.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
the target that you both have for what you want to do, the ambition is crazy. But from what you advertised on the Kickstarter and what you had back then to what you have now, it's a little bit like
they've done it. They've bloody done it.
Shit! They might have done this.
Yeah.
This is the kind of communication that I want to have with all of the people that we want to try to bring into the DreamWorld experience, because I think it's a really good one. And I think it's going places that are very exciting, like we've been talking about. And I want other people to share in that excitement so that our community can build more vibrantly, more quickly.
Yeah.
And we can keep going with this thing for as long as we possibly can. I think would be absolutely incredible. We have, a to-do list that's like years long. As much as we've already done, there is still to do and more. The reason why I wanted to be in this call and want to be in every call like it, instead of, like you said, just appointing someone to come and take a call for me, is because I really want to make sure that we have a list of all of the things that are going to make you and other people we want to play the game and binge it, like you guys are talking about. We want to make sure that we have a list of all the features that would make you binge it. And if they haven't already been put on our list, we want to put them on that list. If they have been on the list but are lower prio than they actually should be, we want to make sure that gets bumped up in prio. And so these calls are exceptionally important to me. And that's why we talk with our Discord community all day, every day. That's why we have all of our business stuff on Discord, so that we can be there, and we encourage all of our teammates to go and, hey, somebody's got a question in Discord, like, try to answer it for them. If you're feeling like you're at a loss for how to fix this thing you're working on, like, go take 5 minutes and talk with the community.
Really, yeah, there should be more positivity surrounding your game, for definite.
Yeah,
that's what we're hoping for. Yeah. And we think that just like the period of time where we put our heads down and just developed, we think that this period of time where we're focusing on having these conversations with people like you, people who are playing these games but looking for something else, we're hoping, one, that we have the correct blend of the things that you're looking for, and if we don't have them, be very vocal with us and we'll develop them. And we're hoping that, hand over fist, we will slowly crawl towards turning the tide in this public sentiment surrounding us, and bring this community to where people like ourselves who have actually played it and love it feel like it should be. So yeah. That's what we're doing.
I think you can. As soon as your passion for it comes across and people realize that they've got the dev that wants the game that they want too, I think it's going to work. I just think that the initial start was bad timing, and it came off just amongst everybody who was looking for a scam. I think it was just a bad timing for it.
It was, yeah.
It happens.
Glass wall.
Oh, here we go.
Is there a glass wall in the game, or have I missed it?
Okay, so let me tell you exactly what happened there. We did have glass walls for a very long time. The reason we don't have glass walls right now is because we are availing ourselves of a technology called nanite, and nanite does not currently enable you to have translucent pieces.
Okay, I get it.
As soon as they update that feature, it will be in that day.
I really do apologize for taking up so much of your time, but it's been a pleasure. So thank you so much for your time today. It really has.
It's been a pleasure for me too. I really appreciate it. Right. My pleasure. My pleasure, guys.
We'll see you soon. So if you have got this far in the video, congratulations, fair play. We don't normally do videos this long either, so yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. But yeah, I personally think they have made a game now, and it's free. And I have had quite a bit of fun messing around on it, especially with the building mechanics and everything else that's going on. We will do a proper review. We'll actually look at the game properly and put out there it is still in development. Don't go in and expect a AAA title. You're not playing with Ubisoft. You're not playing with EA. That's why it's fucking free. But go in with a bit more of an open mind. It's a new game. It's fresh. Things aren't perfect, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's free. Go and have a go. They reckon this one server can harbour an infinite amount of players, infinitely changing their landscape, building structures, all in real time on one server. If this video goes out to more than 10 people, I don't know how many people are going to end up watching this, but if it does, let's test it.
Yeah.
Let's get people on. Let's get people on. See how it does. But yeah, more than that, it's a free game. You don't get much for free nowadays. You might as well give it a go.
We'll put links in the description to how to download it and how to join the Discord and stuff.
Yeah, and definitely join the Discord. Don't go in trolling him. Don't go in there and start talking about the Scam MMO, because I think that kind of needs to go now. Yeah, I don't think it's warranted. But also, Callum Upton, he was the main guy who talked about the scam, brought the so-called scam to the surface. Callum is now in Discord with them, on their game, playing around, talking to them about their game as a friend.
He was on stream with them the other night.
Every Friday on Twitch stream, he's there chilling out with them. That's got to count for something. So if him or any of the others have made you have this misconception of this game, I feel it's only right to squash that for now, stick it on download, and give it a try for yourself. I think it's only fair. And honestly, it's quite fun. It is quite fun. And I would say if it was shit.
Yeah. I think people know if they've watched this channel that you would say they know you by now.
So yeah, in short, I hope you managed to get this far. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a go. And if you have downloaded it and you have given it a go, let us know in the comments below what you think of it. And honestly, what do you think of it? Because it is still a bit ropey around the edges, but it's a small team making a game, doing the best they can. Let me know what you think, what they've done. I quite enjoyed it.
Get the bell on.